In this video, I'm going to talk to you about security and go over some of the configuration that you can do in the control panel. We'll also take a look at configuration overrides. I'm not going to go through every single one, and you'll see why. So if you go log into your Expression Engine install and go to add-ons and then modules, and then scroll down to security and click on the link to open it up. Basically what you'll find is that the general tab has the ability to enable or disable by selecting or unselecting the checkbox all of the different aspects of security. So if you wanted to enable file monitor, you would leave this checked. Same thing with control panel login alert. If you wanted to enable control panel IP locker, you could just by checking the checkbox, and so on and so forth. And then you would just click on submit. Now, once they're enabled, then what you want to do is you actually want to go to the individual tab, if you will, for each one of those different sections. So if you go to File Monitor, you'll notice that you have the ability to scan a specific path, and you can exclude certain paths. So just like with Backup Pro, where you may want to back up certain folders and leave the other ones unbacked up, I guess. That's not the right way to say it, but I think you understand what I'm saying. So in this instance, we may want to scan all of the different, all of the different paths. And I don't know why system is in here, because I would certainly want system to be backed up. So I'm going to go ahead and remove these because I want them to all be scanned. I want the notification email to go to my email address. And if you're using an application or a module like Automate from Mithra as well, then you can also use this to set up a cron job to actually scan this. So, but then you would just click on submit to save those settings. You can also just go through, so control panel login alert, to which email address do you want that email to go? Password expire, do we want these to expire after 30 minutes, 6 months, 1 year, some other date, maybe 18 months or something? You can set those, and you can specify which member group you want to expire. And you can change the change password template. So if you want the person to have to go to a specific URL on the site, you can specify that here. Obviously, I don't have, this is just a demo install, so there's not a lot of templates. There's only two. So those are the two that I have to select from. But if you had a full site, you would probably have quite a few to select from there. So control panel registration email. This allows, once somebody has registered on the site, if you have a membership-driven site, you can set an expire time for the email that gets sent out to them. This is a really good way of locking things down so that there aren't a lot of these emails out there for people to abuse. So in this case, it's set to 1 day. You can actually specify 1 hour, 2 hours, custom. I don't know that I would go much longer than 1 week. I would want this to be a shorter duration. I would want them to take an immediate action on it and not have it just sitting in their inbox for months at a time. So this is the actual email message that's sent out. You notice here that you can actually use Expression Engine tags in this. At least there should be a handful that are appropriate for this email. And then you can specify which change password template you want to use. Again, I don't have that many in here. So, and then the email format, I would more than likely just leave this as text. We don't want to get terribly fancy, but if you are one that needs to have HTML, maybe you want to encode your URLs or something along those lines so that they that they're pretty and all that other jazz, then you could send out an HTML email if you wanted. Forgot password. This is a lot of similar functionality as the control panel registration email. You have the ability to set a duration. So when this email gets sent out to reset their password, when do you want that email and the URL and everything to expire. So 12 hours, 2 hours, 1 hour. Again, I would err on a shorter time period than a longer. You have the ability to change the email password that goes out. You have the ability to specify the template that you want that sent to or the person sent to. And then you have the ability to specify whether you want text or HTML for that as well. IP lockers, this basically allows you to lock down the site except for specific IP addresses. So I'm on my local machine, so I've got this set to 127.0.0.1, I think I've actually got this disabled, but you can set this to expire after a certain period of time. So they may have access, but then after say 2 days, they lose access. This is the email message, just like in the previous ones that we discussed. Text versus HTML, which template do you want to use, and which member group do you want to apply this to. And then control panel quick deny. This just allows you to deny access to the control panel. Right now it's just set to 1. This excludes, this is an exclude group. So these are the people that you would like to still be able to have access to the control panel. So all of those are set in the control panel. And there's one other way that you can actually set these. So if we go to, if we back up and go to System, Expression Engine, and then Config, and then open up config.php, you'll see that this is our config file. And I've got all of the config parameters for security over in this other file. As you can see, there's quite a lot. You can find these on the Mithra website, but if we put these in here, you'll see that there's everything from being able to disable the accordions. You can specify your license number. Do I want to enable, file monitor? Do I want to enable expiring members? I can set those. 1 is true, or yes, I do want to enable it. 0 is false, or I do not want it enabled, and so on and so forth. And so there's all kinds of stuff in here. You can, specify, the file scan, path, the file scan exclude paths, the member expired time to live, and so on and so forth. So these are all over at the mithra62.com website. And there are explanations there for what each one of these do. But what happens is basically if you save these into your config file and you come back over here and you update, then all of those parameters actually get applied, and they override what you find or that you set in the control panel. So for instance, I had enable file monitor set to true, enable control panel login set to true, but we did not save when I checked this checkbox, we did not save that. So it should not be set to true. But if we go back to this and we say enable expiring members, which is member expire. Okay, so it's not set to enable. If we just set that to 1 and then save it and go back, we see now that it has enabled that. The other thing too is because I don't have a license specified at the top of this, so license number, notice that the enter your license number banner has come back as well. So it overrides just about everything that you might apply in the control panel, except for possibly the message and stuff like that. Although I think maybe there is even the ability to do that. I did not realize. Would you look at that? So you do have the ability to specify the email messages in the config as well. Although I can't figure out why. I guess if you really just didn't want clients to be able to override that, then that would be handy. So, but anyway, just know that this is a possibility and that it is quite useful, especially if you're wanting people to not be able to change those in the control panel. But that's pretty much it for now. If you have any questions, then head on over to Mithra62.com and ask away.